Shotgun snap to Stafford. Sets in the pocket. Plenty of time. Winds up. Throws to the near sideline. Caught. 50-yard line and out of bounds. Nakua. The clock at 1. Oh, to keep the clock going. It's over. It's over. Seattle has won. The Seahawks are going to the Super Bowl.
Let's get back to San Francisco for more You Better You Bet with Nick Kostos. Live from Media Row, only on Westwood One Sports. Presented by BetMGM.
The biggest game of the year calls for a boost pack that's just as big. BetMGM rolling out the Big Game Boost Pack, giving you 3 different ways to boost the odds on your next big game bet. Here's how it works. First, log in and your Big Game Boost Pack's going to be waiting for you. Next, add any big game bet to your bet slip and activate the boost token you want to use. And finally, if that bet hits with the token activated, you'll get extra winnings on top of your payout. So if you want to add a little more excitement to your big game action, make sure you grab the Big Game Boost Pack from BetMGM so you can make it legendary. Download the BetMGM app today, and please gamble responsibly. Now, I love me some NFL history, as I'm sure everybody can tell. Did 27 minutes to start the hour with legendary NFL general manager Ernie Accorsi. I don't think there are many people out there in the media or otherwise that love and know the history of the league the way that I do. One of them is our guest joining us right now. And I got to be honest, man. I think my hair is pretty good. My hair looks pretty good. This guy's hair is magnificent. And for people that are watching the show right now on YouTube or Twitch, he's messing with it during the break. I could see him off camera. You look great, my friend. Because joining us right now is my pal, Damon Amendolara, DA and Bab, Sirius XM Mad Dog Sports Radio, Channel 82, 6 to 9 a.m. Eastern, and pumping out Super Bowl content all week, and I would encourage everyone to check it out. I've been on his show on YouTube. The content is fantastic. My man knows the NFL inside and out. Wildly entertaining. YouTube.com/Damon Amendo, Amendo. That's his Twitter handle as well. YouTube.com/Damon Amendo. DA, welcome to the show. Happy Super Bowl week, my friend.
Kostos, happy Super Bowl week, buddy. How we doing?
I cannot hear Damon, guys. Can we please try and get this fixed and let me know when this is all set, and we will bring Damon onto the show. I can't wait to ask him about Super Bowl 60, his thoughts on the Patriots and the Seahawks. Want to get his take on kind of like what happens if Marshawn Lynch runs in the touchdown at the end of Super Bowl 49 and kind of where we go from there. So Mike Brown, please let me know when he's all set. All right, so Mike is telling me we should be able to hear Damon. DA, do we have you, my friend?
I do have you. Do you have me, Nick Kostos?
Okay. Oh, there we go. We have DA with us right now. My friend, happy Super Bowl week.
Happy Super Bowl week. Glad you're enjoying a little San Francisco right now.
Well, I don't know if I'm enjoying it, really. There was an earthquake a half hour ago, and
wow.
I know you're based in I didn't feel it, but there is one. Kind of makes me want to leave. And just walking through the streets of Midtown Manhattan, like sometimes you smell, right, marijuana. This would be, I would say, walking through the streets of San Francisco, like you get high. Like you are stoned walking through the streets of San Francisco.
Oh, yeah. We did this 10 years ago at Super Bowl 50. I did the Radio Row thing and stayed downtown, which is pretty close to the convention center. And the sights that I saw and the smells that I wafted and the things that I witnessed, wow, that will forget, Cam Newton not jumping on a fumbled snap or a fumbled ball. I saw things that I'll always remember far more than that.
In comparison to what went on the streets of San Francisco prior to Super Bowl 50. I want to start with this, and I think you're such a great person to ask this question to, because you know the history of the league inside and out. And I started my show today talking about it, right? Just, with Super Bowl 60 with the Pats and the Seahawks, obviously is going to make you think of Super Bowl 49, right, with the Patriots and the Seahawks. And the Pats hadn't won one in a decade leading up to that game. And Seattle is on the doorstep of winning back-to-back Super Bowls. And just curious how you think the history of the league changes if Darrell Bevell and Pete Carroll and Russell Wilson call a run and Marshawn Lynch scores and the Seahawks win that Super Bowl, go back-to-back, and deny Tom Brady and Bill Belichick that elusive 4th Super Bowl championship that they worked at for a decade. And kind of like what happens from there in Damon Amendolara's estimation.
It is one of the most remarkable butterfly effect moments in sports history, and it is the most important, most impactful, singular decision in NFL history, because I believe, as probably you do and most do, that if the Seahawks decide to run the football, they win a Super Bowl. By deciding to pass the football, they lose a Super Bowl. You can go back through the annals of time, and there's plays that should be executed. There's officials' calls that could go one way or the other. There's decisions early in a game, but never has there been a decision that on one play is, if we do this, we win. If we do this, we lose, and they chose wrong. And everything from there on changes between the two franchises. At that point in time, Patriots had gone a full decade without winning a Super Bowl. Remember, they had lost in 2007. They had lost in 2011. This would have been their third consecutive Super Bowl defeat. So now you're tacking on to not just losing to the Giants, now you lose to the Seahawks as well. Now it's this second iteration of the Patriots cannot win the big one. If the Seahawks win, that group remains intact and trusting of one another and compete for more Super Bowls. It was that decision and the lack of Pete Carroll and the coaching staff to own their mistake that ripped apart that locker room. And I've had conversations with people that were on that team with the Seahawks, within that organization. Once that happened and Pete never admitted, we made a mistake, we bleeped up, the defense could not trust the offense. The defense didn't trust Russell Wilson. They could not mend the fences, and everything started fraying. Then, of course, you have guys getting older. You have distaste between the players in the front office, like the Earl Thomas moment, the Earl Thomas situation as he's getting carted off and flipping the finger. You have everything that just unravels from them. They could not put the toothpaste back in the tube. And even if they had not won after that, winning back-to-back Super Bowls puts you in a different limelight, like the Packers of the 60s, like the Dolphins of the 70s, like the Broncos of the 90s. It is much different than being the 85 Bears or the 99 Rams. If you win one and lose one, or win one and don't get back, it is not the same as when you win back-to-back or win 2 out of 3 years or whatever. It changes everything. And in that moment is a decision. It's not even execution. Of course, it's execution too, but it's a decision. They run the football. Life is different.
Pretty amazing, right? Amazing to think about. And I love the way you framed it and the gravity of that it's the biggest decision in the history of the Super Bowl, maybe in the history of sports, that one play decides so much, and they obviously made the wrong decision. You Better You Bet, live from Radio Row, San Francisco, California. Nick Kostos on Westwood One Sports with my friend Damon Amendolara, DA and Babs, Mad Dog Sports Radio, youtube.com/Damon Amendo. Let's go lightning round here, DA. We have about 5 minutes left here. I want to hit a couple topics with you. If the Seattle Seahawks win Super Bowl 60, what does it do for Mike Macdonald's legacy, even if the Seahawks never win another one?
Well, it makes him the defensive Sean McVay. He's younger than 40 years old. It's year number 2. His defense is amazing, and he would have already won a Super Bowl. It puts him in this short class of best coaches in the NFL, and absolutely, with a bullet point, the best young coach in the NFL.
I totally agree with you. And we'll be talking about McDonald and like revered tones reserved for like the likes of Landry, won multiple, but some of the great defensive coaches in the history of the National Football League. When you think about and conceptualize DA, Super Bowl 60 playing out, Seahawks a 4.5-point favorite, total in the game 45.5, and you can save like your prediction if you hold it to the end of the week, that's fine. But how do you kind of see the game playing out? Like higher scoring, lower scoring? Do you have a strong feeling here as we sit here on Monday, 6 days out from the game?
The Seahawks are the better football team. This is about whether the Seahawks actually play the better football game. If they play anything close to what they've shown in the postseason, this thing's a wrap. The Patriots cannot hang on. The Patriots have been gifted a great path. Patriots fans will say, well, you got to earn it. You got to win all those games. That's true. But there has been no path in NFL history as gilded as this one. Patriots took advantage of it. The Seahawks are the far superior team. It does not guarantee they win, though. They must avoid shooting themselves in the foot. They must avoid bad decisions, being tense, bad interceptions, turnovers, a silly play, a silly foul, a silly penalty that extends drives, extends third downs, etc. If they just don't shoot themselves in the foot, Seahawks will win this football game. But that is not a guarantee. And the Patriots are built like a lot of old Patriots teams, which is, and Vrabel learned this under Belichick, let them make the mistake. We won't do it. Let them make the mistake. And if that happens, it's a close game. But again, I just go back to, if Darnold doesn't turn the football over, Seahawks defense does what it usually does, and the Seahawks play a clean, crisp game without mistakes, they win this football game by a touchdown.
So do you think is that your pick here? Seattle by a touchdown, Seattle covers, and if so, does Sam Darnold win MVP or somebody else?
Yeah, I think Sam Darnold wins the MVP as long as he's above average. Quarterbacks seem to just have this on lock. There's a monopoly on Super Bowl MVPs and quarterbacks as long as they're decent. I'm a little scared to pick this game that cleanly because it feels like all of the prognosticators are saying the Patriots don't stand a chance and it's going to be the Seahawks, yada, yada, yada. And I never feel good going with this huge avalanche of support one way and the unanimous, public vote. But I just can't shake the fact that the AFC playoffs were kind of like a messy disaster, and the NFC playoffs were a referendum on how good the Seahawks are. And the Patriots logo, I think, affects how we look at this. Because if that was the Broncos, or that was the Jaguars, or that was the Bills maybe, or that was any other team, I think we'd be like, yeah, the Seahawks are going to clean up here. The Patriots logo scares everybody, and their coach is really good. So I don't feel that comfortable, but I just think neutral site, both teams play the same game. Seahawks are a superior team.
Start the show. I think Seattle will be winning at the end and covering at the end, and Drake may have a chance to do what Tom Brady did in his second year in his first Super Bowl against the St. Louis Rams. YouTube.com/Damon Amendo, DA and Babs on Mad Dog Sports Radio, Channel 82, 6 to 9 a.m. Eastern. My friend, I appreciate it. Enjoy the Super Bowl, and we'll talk soon.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate it. Enjoy the week, man. Have fun.
The great Damon Amendolara joining us here on You Better You Bet. YouTube.com/Damon Amendo. Hour number 3 on the other side, and we're going to start it off with my Westwood One teammates, Black and Abdallah, joining me next here on Set Radio Row, presented by BetMGM.